Hey y'all, welcome back. Sorry I was gone again for like a little month. It was just a whole bunch of things came up all at once. So, went to a few weddings, got sick, and I was genuinely just trying to get a handle on everything again. It has been nearly 5 years since I dabbled in this stuff, so needless to say, I was more than a little rusty. But hey, I'm back now, and there's a few topics I want to talk about. First, kind of like the general state of the market that I found. I feel confident saying we are essentially in a speculative euphoria. What does that mean? It essentially means that everyone is flipping and buying and investing because they all genuinely 100% believe, at least many of them, that it's going to keep going up and up and up. That's not really any news to anyone. You've already seen it. We have the Pokemon scalpers that have essentially been camped out and have a mortgage out at Walmart's for like the past 6 years since COVID, essentially. They've been here straight the entire time. Not to mention, of course, whenever they brought in all of the Pokemon vending machines, all of those keep getting scalped. It's been miserable. No one can get anything at anything. And it's crazy thinking that back when I was in the hobby initially, MSRP was a ripoff. We all looked at the 135 a box or however much it is now and thought that's way too much. We can buy it from so and so store for $500 for a case. And I remember because I bought $500 cases of like Vivid Voltage, Battle Styles, Darkness Ablaze, etc., etc. And now the new set is coming out, and I don't fully remember the number off the top of my head. We'll pull it up on screen. It's like $300 a box. It's utterly ridiculous. You have Destined Rivals, which, to be fair, that is a fantastic set, worth a small fortune, and it's barely even just a few sets old. It's crazy to me how everything has been moving, so I feel very confident calling this a speculative euphoria. Now, given that, what I have also been seeing a lot, just everywhere, between multiple channels, between Rudy's been mentioning it, Discords, everyone, people keep calling whether this is a top signal, whether the crash is coming, saying, oh, you can't invest in it, so you got to sell off. Others saying, no, this is the time to buy. Let's have a real legitimate conversation about it. So, it all boils down to your personal financial situation. I cannot financially advise you on specifically what to do for each of you because it's all case by case. But generally, the way I see this is if you purchase products at ludicrously low prices, perfect example, $83 Vivid Voltage box. Now I believe it's like $240, $250, somewhere around there. Sell some of it off. Specifically, just get some money out of it, get yourself to a net zero, hold the rest, have fun with it. Now, let's say there's going to be two particularly different situations, one where you're established and one where you're not. Let's define what I mean by established. That means you have actual tangible assets in real things. This is not real. This is all shiny cardboard. You cannot go anywhere and use your Charizard, or correction, you can't go to the store and buy groceries with your Charizard. Technically, you can't do that with stock, but you turn around with your Charizard, it's worth $100. You're probably going to get $80 if you try to sell it quickly. As opposed to you take your stock, you turn around, you sell it, you're probably going to get exactly what you want for it because it's that simple. It's liquid. Liquidity is king. So, established means you have tangible assets, stocks, bonds, ETFs, whatever you need to have, mutual funds, everything that's real, the big boy, the adult investments, the really boring stuff. If you're established and you have funds, who cares? You have your fund money. It doesn't matter if it goes down. Just hang on. If you truly believe in it and it goes up in the future, congratulations. If it goes down, you get to have fun just ripping and enjoying the product. However, if you are not established, this camp, particularly, this is where I see most of the problems. You don't have any bonds, you don't have retirements, you don't have house, you don't have anything. Those are the people that I see are taking really big risks. They over leverage themselves, getting way too much credit. They go ahead and instead of going into bonds or stocks or whatever it is that they choose to do in the real markets. They're going all in on Pokemon. And I've seen it in the comments, even with the one video I made talking about how the money would have been better spent into Pokemon. And yes, you may be right with the power of hindsight, but people don't get wealthy, like truly rich. And I'm not talking like Warren Buffett rich. I'm talking just end your life as a millionaire, because quite frankly, that is a really attainable goal. And I don't think there's anyone who's really going to argue that a millionaire isn't at least some level of rich on the low end. You're not going to get there by gambling it all into Pokemon, and maybe you get lucky. But what happens if it goes down? What happens if the party ends? It doesn't, just because we're in the speculative euphoria and it may eventually end, or it will most likely end, that doesn't necessarily mean it all goes down. A market can slowly die by just flatlining for years and years. You want a perfect example? You have tons of things. Lionel trains, you have Beanie Babies. Go look at the Star Wars market. You have so many different collectibles. Right now, we have been in a sort of just overall collectible euphoria for years now. It's been going nonstop. It's everywhere. Every kind of collectible is just kind of going realistically crazy. TCGs have been the kings of going crazy in recent years. So, if you are in the ladder of you are not established, you do not have real assets yet, take what you can and start building yourself up. It's what I've been doing, okay? The truth is, I don't have as much in those markets as I should. I do have money in them. I do have real assets. However, it's not as much as I should. So for that reason, I have been cashing out. I've been selling off little bits of product. I got rid of a nice big chunk of Generations, which you see way up here. I had a bunch of it from my old videos. I sold that. I got rid of a Plasma Blast box, and I got rid of various other little things. And I'm taking that money and I'm putting it in other places that are, quite frankly, a little more responsible. And I'm still choosing to hold on to this stuff to fund my hobby. I'm still playing with it. Ultimately, you want to play in this hobby with the house's money if you can. I'll give you a perfect example. Just this past weekend, I went to a card show. And I went ahead and I traded cards to get myself the nice little, the Unigaba set. Very expensive for the full set, $2,500. I say very expensive because honestly, that's still a lot of money to me. I know to some of you, that's probably nothing. Many of you are probably thinking like $6-8 grand, that's expensive. No, I'm still in the kiddie pool. But continuing on from that, I am trying to move things around. I'm still trying to play in this market responsibly, and I urge you to do the same. Sell off if you have margins on them. If you're in situations where you're over leveraged, where you can't afford to take losses on things, do some introspection. Reflect on what's going on, how you got here. This is a fantastic hobby. I think there is money to be made. I do believe that this is a strong market. It's a strong franchise. Fantastic games, improving games, fantastic anime. They're getting better and better, and I don't see them really going down the drain anytime soon. But that doesn't mean that just because the franchise is successful, that by default the hobby will be. That's just not how things work. Again, I refer to Star Wars, but that one's kind of like a weird one because it was really good, and then we know what the sequels did. So, that's kind of defeats the argument. But just research other hobbies. You'll kind of see what I'm talking about with other franchises that are rather big, and yet their collectibles aren't nearly as big as them. So to sum it up, essentially, my thoughts on that part of the speculative market is, I don't know how long this is going to go on for. It could be 2, 3, 5, 6 years, however long the market stays like this. You need to be smart about how you play it. If you are established, have fun, do whatever you want. You've already set your roots. You've set up your foundation. If you're unestablished, if you are just not quite sure if you can afford to stay here, start to move some money, keep some stuff still in here, but just make sure that you are safe, that you can handle the blows. Ask yourself, if this all goes down by 50%, can you afford that? Can you hold this? Be stuck holding the bag for 5, 6 years. You want a perfect example? Look at Rudy's old bathroom. He went so hard into Roaring Skies. I know Roaring Skies is worth a ridiculous amount now, but at the time it was garbage. No one wanted it. It was fire selling for like $80 a box. It was garbage. But now it's worth something because he was able to hold it. Could you actually hold it? Or would you be getting chased by credit card payments? By potentially you have to churn and burn the inventory because you're trying to pay for other things with it. If you're in that position, consider taking a step back. Now, because the other big thing that I've been seeing is everyone is talking about the 30th. 30th is coming. How am I going to get it at MSRP? Should I buy it right now? Should I buy it later? Let's make this real simple. Don't buy it when it releases. If you can get it at MSRP, have fun flipping it. Sure, you can hold it to try and invest. But here's the fact of the matter. It has happened twice, as far as I can remember so far, because I joined in 2020, so it was not that long after the 20th, and the 25th was around the corner from when I joined. The 20th, they did go fairly crazy. That was the Pokemon Go era. Tons of money going around, and then it kind of stagnated. Then it blew up around the 25th for celebrations because it was the 25th, and they were saying, oh my God, the 25th is coming, so the 20th is going to go crazy. And it did, and then it calmed down and stagnated. However, with the 25th, yes, celebrations was expensive. It was hard to get, but there were opportunities. Whenever the smoke cleared out, everyone started offloading their products. People lost interest. The prices came down. Tons of stuff came down. That's what I really want to try and emphasize to you. Right now, everyone is still freaking out. Everyone wants to find investment opportunities. Realistically, I'm waiting. I'm going to wait until I finally like the vibe of the market. I don't like the vibes right now. It feels like there's that speculative euphoria is so strong. It's there that everyone is just purchasing, investing, doing whatever they need to. When I was at the card show, so many singles, I barely saw any sealed. Either, I don't know if that's because people are ripping it or people are trying to invest it and hold it, whatever, but I didn't really see it. When things do begin to go bad, when shit really does hit the fan, inventory will come out. That's the time when you can play. That's when you can actually make real deals. When people are desperate, it's horrible to say, but when people are desperate, they will take deals. You can buy cases, multiple cases at like 80% of the market at the time. That's how you turn around and you buy things like Chilling Reign at like $70 a box. That's how you get Evolving Skies for under $100, because there were periods when the stuff just wasn't moving. We went through a lull. As far as I can see, it was like 2023, 24, right after I left. You can almost tell that the casual guy who was leaving, that was your signal. But it will happen again. I don't know if it's next year, next 2 years, next 5 years. But be ready for when it does. If you truly believe in this hobby, that's the moment to get in. And the very last piece of advice I can give you right now for this video, the rarer the better. Understand that whenever there's all this speculative euphoria, whenever everything is worth such stupid amounts of money, rarity is your friend. That's what gets insulated. If at the end of the day, when you come up to somebody and you're trying to make a deal and negotiate for a price, and they don't like your price, if you can simply respond to them with, where else will you get it? That's rarity. The fact that there is nothing to negotiate, there isn't other things to compare it to. There's very few of them. Even with not celebrations, generations. It's a decade old, yet when I went to sell my inventory, there was so much back and forth. There's barely any of it online. So I chose to get rid of some of it, but I'm still keeping it. The items I traded with at that convention, they were things that I did not find rare. So I did the full art Latios from, I think it was Team Up. It's not the Lovebirds, trust me, I would have kept that one. An ultra shiny, the Japanese Hidden Fates Charizard. It was a rainbow Lapras from Sun and Moon base set, I believe. And then the shiny Umbreon from the English Hidden Fates, and that one, all of those were 10s except the Umbreon was a 9. And I went for the Unigabas. Why? I believe those have a special appeal. Yes, they are still very common, but they're not as common as those sets. Those were opened. There's tons of them graded. I know there's tons of the Unigabas graded, but Japanese, more of a limited release, a collaboration, very unique arts. Just look at the things that have held value over the years. The ponchos, the collaboration sets. Look at the Mario, look at the Scream promos. The felt hat, that's in its own little league. That thing's a complete mess. I want nothing to do with that thing, but you get my points. That's why I went for the Unigabas. And honestly, I think they're all somewhere in the ballpark of like 250, somewhere up there in like 300-ish. What's your downside on them? They go down to like 100, 150. What? That's nothing. That's no risk I'm really exposed to, and I can actually easily absorb that. I'm in the position of, while I'm not fully established yet, I'm getting there, and I don't care what happens to this stuff. If it all goes to zero, I am fine. I don't need the money. I'm just taking advantage of it so I can get further ahead with my actual big boy investments to set myself up for retirement. Whenever I left the hobby, I was here. I was not established. I was a Timmy, full on. I might still be a Timmy because I'm learning, and I'd be a fool to think otherwise. But I'm at least getting a better understanding of where I need to be. I'm going to keep making videos, keep trying to teach you guys what I understand, using my own anecdotal evidence, because God knows I have been where you guys have been in terms of not understanding things, still trying to learn, and even now I still want to learn, and I want to make money. It's fun to have shiny cardboard. It's fun to be able to roll around with a little card and be like, this is a stupid card, it's worth $250. Or be able to roll up and tell them, like, that's a $7,000 card. It's fun, I like it, but we got to be smart about this. At the end of the day, you can't go to the store with Monopoly money, and that's what we're playing in. You got to make it real. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you next time.